Hello again, everyone. My name is Carr, and welcome to Cars, Cards, and Coins. This is like my third video, so I am still learning, and I will have to admit I still feel extremely awkward. I have not gotten over that yet, and I have done a lot of practicing, talking to myself, trying to get used to it best that I can, but I'm old school and it is something that is very, very hard to get used to when it's something that you've literally never done. So, like I said in my first two videos, I wanted to start making videos because I've seen a lot of a rise in a lot of YouTube personalities, social media, talking about gold and silver, and they all seem to be saying the same thing: investment grade silver, sports cards, investment grade cards. And so I've been doing it a long time, and I am not an expert. I am not a professional, but I have been doing it a long time, and so I just felt, that I needed to say something on that, because I believe that that is the wrong way to view gold and silver and cards. I don't think that's the way they should be approached. I mean, like I said, if you're a multi-millionaire or someone that's rich, then yeah, gold and silver keep up with inflation. They protect your dollar. But in order for silver to help you, there has to be inflation. So in order for your silver to be worth more, your dollar has to be worth less. So guys like me, and we're the ones that are watching most of these videos, investing in silver cards, it's not going to do us any good to have an investment like we would in the S&P 500. That's where your investments should be, with a professional, with an expert. So I just wanted to start making these videos trying to help younger, upcoming, new collectors. So today, in this video, I would like to talk about the Morgan silver dollar. Because clearly, I love silver. And I do. I'm a huge fan of silver. Don't think that I'm not, because there are a couple of great reasons to buy silver. And I believe if you come at it from the approach that I take, and I am not saying that I'm, Mr. Know-it-all, not even close, not even close. But I do believe if you take my approach, in the end, 20, 30 years from now, you will be happy that you did. And if you are in the situation that I was in when I first started buying silver, broke, poor, had an extremely hard time to save any money, this could be the answer. Silver. Not necessarily Morgans, because as you can see, there is a lot of numismatic Morgans, and there is a difference between numismatic and silver rounds. silver eagle, silver buffalo, Canadian maple leaf. And believe it or not, there's actually a difference in those too. There's a difference between the silver maple leaf, American silver eagle, and a silver buffalo. American silver eagles are backed by the U.S. government. They have a face value. They can also be considered a numismatic coin, and some, they have some that are graded, and just a regular from a generic mint silver buffalo. That is just pure. You're just buying it for the silver weight. So, but today, I wanted to try and focus on the Morgan silver dollar, which is still the king, still the most popular coin, collector coin. Now, the American silver eagle sells more and all that, but when people buy it also, to invest. But as far as numismatic coins, the Morgan silver dollar is the king. It is the most popular coin. So, the Morgan silver dollar. It was approved by what was called the Bland Act. It was authorized by what's called the Bland-Allison Act, which followed the Coinage Act of, I think, 1873. And the first Morgan silver dollar was minted in Philadelphia, March 11th, 1878. And this was one of the first coins made. When they first made them, they made them with 8 tail feathers. And then, on this side, you see the 7/8 right here. Well, they decided to drop the 8 and go with the 7. And since they had already made so many with the 8, they restruck a lot of them. And that's why you get the 7/8. Like if you take a magnifying glass or a loupe and look closely at the tail feathers right there, like if you counted these, there's 8, and on this one you would see a little, like on the end you would see some little extra ones poking out, and that's why you get the 7/8. And then they made them from 1878 until 1904. And then in 1904, they quit making them. And then they made them again in 1921. And then they were talking about making them again in 1960. But that never happened. They say there's a few shadow coins out there, but I've never seen one. But in 1921, they made, a lot, 60, 70, 80 million more. But then they went with the peace dollar, and made the peace dollar until, I believe, 1934. But in this book I have almost all of the mints, dates, and mint marks. I am missing a few, but I do have almost all of them. The first one, 1878, 8 tail feather, and then we got the 1878 7/8, and then we got the 1878 Philadelphia. It was more minted in Philadelphia, and then we have the 1878 Carson City, and which Carson City mint. These are very popular, the Carson Cities, because of the Wild West. The mint was set up whenever people started going west. They started finding a lot of silver in Nevada. And so instead of shipping it all the way back to Philadelphia, because someone was going to San Francisco, they just decided to open a mint there and start making some coins there. And then we have the 1878 San Francisco. That one was made in San Francisco. And then we have the, trying to get the light better there. And then we have the 1879 Philadelphia. And then again, you've got the Carson City. You know, see, another thing about Morgans that, you know, you have to understand is, especially on one like this one, to get a 79 Carson City in, you know, like the condition of say this one, I mean, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, just this one, the bid is at $240, even in the condition that it's in. It's not in horrible condition, but I mean, you can see a clear difference, you know, in some of these, which they would call mint state condition, versus this one. Still a great coin though, but one day I hope to upgrade it to a better condition one. But for now, it does just fine. And we have the 1879 O, which this was the first year, which, I mean, it's only the second year they made it, but it's New Orleans. That's what the O stands for. It was made in New Orleans. And the New Orleans mint wasn't as sharp as the Philadelphia, which the San Francisco had the best dies. And the New Orleans, you know, their dies, because they were normally second-hand dies from San Francisco. And then here is a San Francisco. And I mean, just look at the difference. And these coins aren't, you know, if they were sent to PCGS, just the strike quality on the San Francisco is just so much better. And this is the reverse of each coin. Which, except for that one, you know, that's the face of the first one. But then we go to the 1880, and then the 1880 Carson City. And if you notice something that I do, and this is something for new collectors, this is the bid. This is the bid of the coin. So what you need to do is you need to know what your coin's worth, but most importantly, and I do have it written down in another book, what I paid for the coin. See, this number is important. You need to know what you can sell it around. But most importantly, you need to know what you paid for it. So see, that's just the range. That's not what I paid for. I mean, that's just the range of around what I could ask. Now, again, it's like I said in the other video, no one's ever, especially a coin shop or a reseller, no one is ever going to pay you what the coin is worth. That's why if you ever do decide to buy Morgan silver dollars, you need to make sure that you, but number one, buy what you can afford, but try to buy the best quality of each coin that you can. You know, don't buy, you know, so, you know, if this is what you can afford, it's like the 1879, well, that's just the coin that I could afford of that one. And you can see the quality difference in the coin of the 1880. Well, it's worth 100, bid is 110. 1880 Carson City. I mean, you can see a difference in those two. Well, this one's not as in good a condition. but it's what I could afford when I bought it. Now, I probably will never upgrade this one because for me, that one's in good enough condition. But the 1879, I will want to upgrade that coin one day. But it's what I can afford, you know, and that's what but make sure you buy the best of what you can afford. 1880 New Orleans. Don't just, go and buy a whole bunch of 1921, low grade, bad condition, like these, just go buy a whole bunch of them. Now don't get me wrong, these are pretty coins, and this is it's a 1899. This is a good, and I'll show you the coin that I upgraded, because at the time this was the best that I could afford. Now I was able to get an upgrade for it, but don't just run out and buy a bunch of 1921 low grade Morgan dollars. Now, if you're getting started and that's what you can afford, 100%, it's better to get started, get your feet wet, see if it's what you like, than to not have any at all or not get started at all. But always buy the best that you can afford. The best condition. The conditions start at good, G4 on the scale. And then it goes up from good to very good, fine, very fine, extremely fine, AU, which stands for almost or about uncirculated. And then you got mint state. Mint state starts at 60 and goes all the way to 70. Mint state 61, 62, all the way to 70. And the closer you get to 70, the more expensive the coin becomes. And that's what you want. You want to always try to buy the best condition of each type coin you can afford. Like this one. I got a killer deal on that one. Got a great deal. That's a very hard coin to get, especially in this condition. So we got a 80S 81 Carson City, and then an 1881 New Orleans, 1881 San Francisco, 1882. And these are the backs of those. And a lot of times when you start buying, this is another great coin. It's another Carson City. All Carson City coins are worth a lot more money, just because their mintages are so low compared to other mints, and because of the historical, where they were minted in Carson City. The tail, the Wild West, and they just have a lure about them, that people want, but also because they didn't make nowhere near as many. I'll give a quick example. The 1882 Carson City, they made 1.1 million. 1.1 million. 1882 New Orleans, they made 6 million. So, just the difference. But a lot of times, here's what happens. A lot of times is when you start buying, you get really, really excited, because it is an amazing feeling when you actually hold it in your hand, when you can feel it, and you pick it up, and you see the coin, and you can hold it, and you can hear it. It's a great feeling. So it is tempting, and I did it. I am preaching to the choir. I have so many coins up here, that they're nice coins, don't get me wrong, but you know, which obviously not that one. That coin's beautiful, no matter what. But I mean, I did buy a lot of coins just, you know, because I just wanted to have them. But I'm trying to get the camera right here. But 1883 Carson City. See, there's another one. 1883 Carson City. And again, in 1883 in Carson City, they made 1.2 million. And in New Orleans, they made, I think, 8 million. I think is what it is. Then we have 1883 San Francisco. And 1883 San Francisco is one of those coins that they melted a bunch of them. So the better grade that you get, the higher the grade, there it goes. The higher the grade, the more expensive the coin becomes. So when you start getting into mint state coins, they get very, very expensive. And here's another Carson City. And in 1884, they made, again, 1.1 million. And these are the backs of those. And in 1884, in New Orleans, they made over 9 million. So, I mean, you see the difference. Now, this coin is pretty expensive because they only made, like in Carson City, they only made just over 1 million. And believe it or not, because they melted so many and because so many went out into circulation and, you know, so many were, you know, it's like change today. So many get worn down, lost. 1 million is a very low mintage. You know, think about how they make them today. When they make them in billions. You know, and this is a coin that I am missing. And the reason why I'm missing this coin is they made 200,000, 238,000. They melted a bunch of them. So to get your hands on one, they start at about $1,000. Very, very expensive. And 1885, New Orleans, 85 San Francisco, 86, 86 San Francisco. But if you look above every one of them, I have the bid. I have the bid above every single one of them. And that's what you want. You want to know, in case you have to sell it or something happens to yourself and your family has to sell it, they need to know about what they're going to get for it. Or, you know, in that range. It's never going to be exactly. Well, look how beautiful that is. That is just unbelievable. Unbelievable coin right there. Look at the color. Look at the toning. Unbelievable. But, you know, they need to have an idea of what they can get. So it's important to have the information available. And this video is starting to get really, really long. Oh man, nobody's gonna watch it. This is way too long. So lost my train of thought once I realized how long it is. Goodness, 25 minutes. But 87, 87.0, you need to have the information for your family. You know, if something happens to you, then what you paid for it is irrelevant at that point. So that's why I put what it can sell for. Because I have another book where I wrote down I have every single coin, what I paid for it. I have the condition that I believe it is, or it came in a graded, you know, slab, and I cracked it out and then put it in here. But I have the year, the date, what I think the condition is, or what the condition is, and what I paid for it. And I will show in another video, this one's going really long. In another video, I'll show all that. And this is another one that I'm missing, the 1889 Carson City. In 1889, Carson City, they only made just over 300,000. Again, they melted a ton of them. So to get your hands on one, they start in the thousands, $2,000-$3,000. And it really doesn't matter the condition on these. Condition really doesn't matter. Here's the back of each one of those. You know, I am, look at how pretty that one is. Look at that. Good night. See, this right here is why you should buy silver. This is why you should be a collector. You get to enjoy something. Okay? How many things can you do today in your life where you can enjoy it, spend your money on it, enjoy it, and at the end of the year, get your money back if you needed it? Nothing. I mean, there's hardly anything. I keep trying to think real quick. There's dead air, but I mean, nothing. Well, this is something. Because these coins are some of the most popular coins, and they're easy to sell. They have the potential, in many cases, they do go way up in value over time, especially a coin like this. That's another big coin, 1890, Carson City. They only made $2 million. Very low mintage, and it's in great condition. 90O, 90S, 91, and here's another Carson City in great condition. In 1891, they made about 1.5, 1.6 million. Coin in this condition is worth a lot of money in that condition. This coin right here is the same as the other San Francisco coin, but this was in New Orleans. These coins are harder to get in better condition. When you get into the mint state coins, they did make about 7 million, but they melted so many of them. They're just really hard to get in better condition. When you start getting into the mint state, they get very, very pricey. But, again, they're extremely common in this grade. That's why it's only $50. Because they're extremely common. Just not in mint state. And we have an 1891S. And here is the back of each one of these. I wanted to go through this book too, but it's just the time is just really, man, I'm almost at 30 minutes. I just cannot believe how fast it is going. I still got a ton I wanted to say. My kids were telling me I was holding the phone wrong. I was holding it like this, and they were like, "Dad, that's how you hold it for a short." So I'm trying to turn it like this. So Morgan silver dollars, the reason why I buy them, and I hate that I waited till 29 minutes to get to this point, but the reason that I buy them is, number one, because of their beauty. Their beauty is unmatched. No coin ever made, no coin ever minted can match the beauty that these coins offer. Just absolutely beautiful Beautiful coin. All right, number 2, they hold their value. They hold their value very, very well. Now, a common date, Morgan silver dollar, although beautiful, okay, these sell for about $30 to $35 is what they sell for. If I were to take this coin right here, this is an 1886, in rough condition, if I took this to my local coin shop, they would probably pay me $25 for it. If I sold it on eBay, it would sell for about $33, $34. Whatnot, about $35, $36. I'm not a seller, I'm going to be clear. I don't think I've ever sold maybe but one coin. But they hold their value. You know, silver, the silver content, you know, I think there's about 24 grams. They're 90% pure silver. They about 0.7 ounces, so almost a full ounce. And they, if silver goes up, you know, the price of these also go up. But coins like this right here, the reason why I buy it is if I were ever in a bad situation, first I buy it because it's beautiful and I love the hobby. But you know, if something ever were to happen to me, and my wife needed to get the money, she would have no problem getting $150 for this coin. No problem at all. So, and another reason why I buy Morgans is because they are plentiful. They are plentiful. Lots of varieties to choose from. Lots of grades to choose from. If I can give one piece of advice or another piece of advice to a new collector, this right here is what's called a rattler. This is an old school holder. Old school holder. But if I can give a piece of advice, another piece of advice to a new collector, it would be always buy the best grade you can afford. Buy the best grade coin you can afford. And what I mean by that is, let's take this coin. Okay? This is an extremely common date Morgan silver dollar. My camera's messed up again here. Extremely common date Morgan silver dollar. This is an 1885 Philadelphia. In 1885 Philadelphia, they made like 18 million. So it's common in bad condition, it's common in perfect condition. But since I got this coin in such a high grade, this coin is worth, the bid is $260. So even though it is extremely common, it's still very valuable because of its grade, its condition. So if you're going to get into buying Morgan silver dollars, when you start buying them, buy the best condition coin you can afford. If you say, okay, because eventually if you start doing books, you'll have to have an 1885. Instead of going to your local coin shop or going to Whatnot or eBay and buying, you know, a AG, almost good or very fine, save your money for a few weeks and buy a better condition one. And the reason I say that is because when you go to sell it in 15, 20 years, the better condition coins will be, they will be scarce. The more time passes, the scarcer the coin becomes. You know, that's why a lot of Michael Jordan cards, You know, you can make hundreds of thousands if you find a Michael Jordan card in the better the condition. Well, coins are the exact same way, like cards. The better the condition, the more money it's worth. So even common date, and it's okay to buy common dates because you can get a lot more coins, enjoy the hobby more versus, you know, like the Carson Cities that I showed. I mean, they're so expensive for even one. In any condition, they're expensive. So, you know, you can go that route. That's okay. That's a great route. If you only want to buy high quality, rare, better date, they're called better date coins. If that's the route that you want to go, heck yeah, that's a great route. You can never go wrong that way. You can never go wrong. But if, you know, me, I kind of, you know, I'm all over the map. I'm all over the map because I love the hobby. I just love doing it. So, but there's really no wrong way or right way. It's really your preference. But I will say, at the end of the day, buying higher quality coins is the better route when it's all said and done, especially if you're planning on holding them for 15, 20, 30 years. Because in, you know, 15, 20, 30 years, that coin, you know, more will have been lost, more will have been, you know, left in a sock drawer and scuffed up by the underwears and, you know, socks in the drawer. So, better condition coins. Now, like these coins right here, this is not those. I think it's this one right here. That's still a good coin. I'll talk about that in the next video. You know, the upgraded from this one to this one. But like this coin right here, this is an 1891 Carson City. It's a Carson City. So this coin is expensive, several $100s, even in this condition. So some coins you're gonna have to buy. You're gonna have to buy in lower grades. But when it gets to the common dates, make sure you buy the best grade you can afford. And on the better date coins, same principle, but they just cost, you know, like this coin in Mint State 65 is $260. This coin in VF Very Fine is $300. $300, $260. Because of that little bitty, the bottom of the, at the